We are going to do this indexing base. All right. So, couple things. This, it seems pretty easy because you've got this circle here, and then it turns into another circle. But then it's got this weird circle right here, and I think that it kind of throws everybody. But what's important to see is that when you dimension um, these circles, if you notice that the radiuses are going to this intersection, so you see where it says R 3.25. Well, that radius is it always when in an arrow. You may not realize it, but when your computer does a radius, if you're indicating at a circle, it's actually always pointing to the center of where that circle is. So it's always pointing to that circle. You may not realize that. So if you would be doing a technical drawing class and you would do a radius, it would always go to the circle. And so what's important to realize is that this circle right here on the left-hand side is not at this center mark. It's actually at this intersection right here. And if you know that, it's a lot easier. I always pick a 0, 0, and the 0, 0 that I'm going to pick is down here. So I know I've got a couple radiuses here, so I'm going to just go ahead and I'll start with a diameter, circle diameter, and for the center, I'll go ahead and type in 0, 0, enter, and then I'll type in 1.5 as my diameter. All right, and then it's always good as you're starting just to verify what you're doing is right. That way you don't get too far into it. All right, 1.5 looks good. Now I'll go ahead and make this circle here. I'm going to go ahead and make another one. It tells me it's a radius, so just to keep my brain functioning properly, I'll go ahead and type in 0, 0, and then so I don't err, I'll just type in 3. So I'll probably want to check that. And if you notice, when I check these dimensions, I try to do it in a manner that replicates the drawing. I'll go back in and change the tolerances later. So I've got this bottom done. Now that's about all the information I have here that I can work with. But if I look closely here, I know that this, I've got this angle coming here. Everything's coming here, and then it's got this radius and all this weird stuff going on. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to find this point here. And the easiest way to do it is just take a line, and I'll go ahead and type in 0, 0 is my starting point. You're always better off if you can type it in because, when you snap, quite often you'll actually mess it up. So there's that line. So now I know where this intersection is right here. It's going to be right there. And I'm just going to draw an arbitrary line. But what I want to do, I know that it's at 30 degrees. So I'll start here and I'll just go up. And then I'll go ahead and type in, or I'll hit the magic rotate, and I'll select this line. And I'm reading the command line in the bottom. So let me make sure you can see that. So the command line says rotate select objects, push enter, enter. All right. The base point's at that intersection there, which is actually 0, comma, what's the radius? 3. Do it again. So we're going to go plus 30, which is actually going, all right. And then I'll want to verify that here. So let's go and just verify that angle. And sure enough, that's 30 degrees. So far, so good. Now let's go ahead and make this other angle while I'm at it. And I'm not worried about the center line. I can always change those later. So let's go down. I'll make one coming down. And then let's make another one starting at this intersection right here. This might actually be a better 0, 0, but that's okay. And now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and rotate it, select this line, push enter, select the intersection, and I'm going in the clockwise, and that's going to be a minus 60 degrees. All right, and I want to verify that, so go ahead and just verify. It's really, I think it's important you verify things as you go along because it's really easy to make a mistake, and I make a lot of mistakes. So there we go. Looks good. So now I kind of got this other area. So now I know this is where the other 0, 0 for this circle is going to be. So let's just make it easy on myself. I know that there's a radius here of 6 inches and 4 inches, and then there's some weird thing going on there. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to use, because it's telling me the radius, It's going to ask me the center point. It's going to be at this intersection right here, which, as I said, is 0, 3. And then let's go ahead and make this, let's start on the outside. I'll make this 6 inches. And wow, wouldn't you know, it's perfectly aligned there. And then I'm going to go ahead and make this inside one, all right? So 0, 3. I'm cheating because I'm going fast. So the center is 0, 3. And then, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep making these radiuses. I notice that it says the radius, this dimension is 1.5 inches. So therefore, I know that this inside radius is going to be 4 minus 0.75, because 0.75 is half of 1.5. So therefore, it'll be radius of 3.25. All right, so I'll go ahead and type here, and I'll type in 3.25. And then I'll make another one. I could offset it, but let's just go ahead and make the circle. We were doing offsets last project. This is going to be for plus 0.75, so 4.75. All right. So here's what I've kind of constructed. It's a hot mess right now, I'm not going to lie. But what I can start to do is trim this. So I'm going to go ahead and type in the magic word trim, and I have to be careful that I'm not moving too much. I'm just going to select everything and push enter, and then I'm going to start getting rid of things I don't need. And I have to be careful because you get really carried away here. I don't need this one, I don't need this one, and I don't need this one. And then I don't think I need this one, and this one. And so then what I can do is I can delete these ones that I don't need. I may be deleting stuff that I need, but I think I'm okay. Okay, so let's trim another one. I don't want this one. I don't need this. All right. So getting closer. Okay, so now I've got this. Why don't I go ahead and just cap these off with these little radiuses? So all I'm going to do then is go to center radius, and I'm just going to click here and click there. And I'm going to push enter, which will reactivate the same command. Click here and click there. And then I'll type in trim. And let's just trim those. Said was click on it and then just hit lengthen, and then you can lengthen it. All right, so I think we're pretty good so far. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I need to add this circle here, but let's go ahead and do this. I know there's a radius there. Let's see if I can do it like this. Let's go ahead, circle radius. All right, anybody want to guess how I'm going to figure this one out? Let's try that again.
It should work. I think that's how I did it in the. There it is.
Yep. Okay. So then let's go ahead and trim that. Oh, I didn't want to trim that one. Okay, does that look about right, you guys? So now I can start changing lines. So you have to be careful because I may have a couple double lines here, so that can be problematic. So what I could do then is take this line, because I'm obviously going to turn these into center lines, and then I could go ahead and put, thank you whoever mentioned that, I'll put a line here. And so remember, when you do lines, you always want to center lines, you need to extend them beyond the circle. So if you notice, there's no circle on the left side here, so I just have to extend it beyond this circle. And you're gonna, I'm gonna tell you that we want to make sure we have that mark there. So the other thing we can do is quickly, if I go to, let's see, I want to put that center mark there, dimensions, there it is, center mark. So let's put that there. Let's see if it appears there. There it is. I could put it there, but let's just see what happens. So let's add. I'm going to have to load the line, I think. So let's go to my um, line type. All right, so I will go to line type. Now, now depending on your computer, sometimes you'll have them depending if it's on a server, but mine aren't here, so I'll go load. And the challenge is sometimes you think they're there, but well, you don't think they're there, but they are. It's because these scales are can be like this is half, right? So that's going to be small. So let's just load a couple, and we'll load the regular center. All right, and I'll say, okay, is there any other lines I need? I think that's the only line I need is a center line. So let's go ahead then and let's just test it out. Let's just grab this line here. I can right click and hit quick properties and do it this way, line type. Let's try the center. All right, that looks pretty good right there. That looks, you know, our base is the book is providing us. All right, so let's go ahead and do this one. So then again, I can also go here and let's do this one. I'd probably be smarter if I just selected a whole bunch of them at once. Are there any other center lines? I think that's it. And then let's go here to line type, center. All right, so that looks good. All right, so that's okay. You typically want a little bit more. I can massage this a little bit, try to get that gap right in there, but I think we're okay. It says a center line, so I know that. Now I can just start dimensioning this. And I also want to add, so the other thing I can do, if you're lazy like me, I'm just going to join this. Type in join. I'll select this line, these outer lines, because your parts, you want to make sure that you differentiate your parts. All right, so now that's one. So if I want to, oh, didn't join. Let's try that again, join. No, it's joined, except I didn't get it. All right. All right. So it's not. Oh, you know why? Because I didn't trim. That's actually a probably good reason to try to join things because you'll notice that things are off. Now it should work. Okay. So now let's join that again. So let's just say, for example, that you can't figure out how to unjoin thing. There's a magic word called explode. Explode kills those kind of joining commands, right? So when you type in explode, it should just go away. So let's do that again. Thank you. You guys are, so come on, lengthen. All right, so I'm just gonna go through that whole thing. All right, now push. So we were okay. I was JK.
Gotta, yeah, trim those edges.
All right, so, and then if you can't trim that, just delete it. All right, I think so we were good. I think we're rocking and rolling here. So, you know, I'll clean this up. A couple things I'll do then, and I need to do the line weights. So let's do that again, that fun exercise. It actually was helpful to me because when I joined it, it wouldn't join, which then told me there was an error going on. So that was actually very helpful for me. And it's probably a good, it's like wearing your seatbelt. If you join things and they don't join, then they're not all attached properly. All right, so there we go. So that's good. Let's do the same to the other one. We're going to join these four pieces. All right, and I think we're good. So now I'm gonna now if your line weights aren't working, what you want to do then is go here and we'll go to make sure that we have our line weight selected. And then you want to make sure it's turned on here. The reason why people turn it off and on, it's very helpful because when you're in CAD, you kind of need the precision, but then there are times when you want to see that line weight and you want it off and on. So I'm going to go ahead and select these lines. And remember, you're going to want to do anything where there's a break in this object. You're going to want to, as if you can see through it, there's a hole in there. That's the part. So you want to make sure that we go ahead and do the line weight. And so we have decided that 0.5 is probably the best, even though it looks pretty thick on here. When we print it out, it seems to work very well. All right, so My little pet peeve is you want to try to avoid uh, overlapping your lines as much as possible. So you want it as much, and sometimes it's not realistic, but this is acceptable. You could do that in there. But then again, if you want to move it out, you could just move it out like that. I probably want to increase my size of my font just a little bit. So I'll do that also, but let's just come on, let go. All right, snapping. All right, so let's add these dimensions, and then we're going to essentially be done. Oh, let's just finish the regular radiuses here. And again, if you're doing things like radiuses, you can just push enter and it'll just redo the last command that you were doing. So then there's this one. Don't like that. I don't care for that, but that's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and change the, if you notice it's radius 2.00, we're at 0.000, which is like the size of a human hair. Let's change that. So typically I would do this before I start the drawing, but I would go here to dimension, help me out here, format, dimension styles, set current, go to modify. Let's go to primary units, change it to 0.00 for hundredths. And then I'm also going to just make this a little bit bigger, fit. I'm going to try let's try 1.5. And I do this because if you do it here as overall scale, you'll notice that the arrows, everything scales, the gaps, everything scales at the same rate. So everything is proportionally correct. I don't think I'm missing anything here. I'll say close, and there we go. So I think I'm doing pretty well here. I think I'm just going to stop the demo there because I'm essentially done. There's a couple things I need to clean up. Let's go ahead and type in our text. So there's different way. I can type in TEXT, or I can do this. Yeah, so the first thing is what I would first do is just make sure I'm reading this. First read it, first corner. So this is where it's going to be. Let's see if there's a width. I'm not sure the best way for you to center it. I have to be honest with you. And then I'm going to type in what is this? This is chapter 3, indexing base. And then this is your name. And then I'll click out of here. So now it's just goofy. So what I typically would do then is come over here. I think you can just right click and also get to the properties on the size. So it's probably in the justification. So let's just try 1 and see where we are. Okay, that's not bad. A little big, but I think we're okay. And then justify. So yeah, so what I did is I right clicked and I said quick properties, and it gave me this. I can do the same over here in properties. The quick properties is typically just much more relevant to what you're working on, because sometimes you just have to dig around and find it. I'm pretty much done. I've got a couple things I got to fix, but I think we're pretty much there for this demo.